What's up, everybody? I'm Kyle Webb.
And I'm his brother, Nathan Webb.
And you're going to be listening to our podcast today.
Two Brothers in a Review.
That's right. Right now we are live on the Zoom. It's Nathan, me, and
my good buddy, war veteran, Adam House.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, there he is.
Everybody bear with us. We're new to all this, but you want to go ahead and plug the Instagram to start us off, Kyle?
Yeah, it is the @ Two Bros in a Review. You go ahead and just go ahead and click on that follow button, share everything, tell us what you think.
We were supposed to be live on Instagram, but we had some issues, so we're doing it this way. But as far as the podcast goes, you can listen to us our weekly reviews on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and several other platforms. If you can't find us on a particular platform, just message us, let us know which one, and we will see what we can do to get us on there.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Awesome.
So,
another thing about the podcast real quick. Got to remind everybody to give us a review. We review everything for you weekly, so if you could just review us. You got to go over there to the Apple Podcast. It's a little purple icon. Subscribe if you haven't already. Scroll down to write a review and click on 5 stars. Give us a 5-star review. Write whatever you want. You hate us, you love us, doesn't matter. Just help us out. So with that little rough start, I guess we can go ahead and get into it. We don't have any housekeeping because we're doing this special thing. We'll have housekeeping for The Shining on the next episode.
Heck yeah.
What are we reviewing today, House?
This is Masque of the Red Death. This is so from the beginning we look at it's from Edgar Allan Poe. A lot of people probably know who he is, one of the most famous American authors, early 19th century. You know, it's actually kind of an interesting time because he wrote this short story. It's only like 2,600 words. Takes maybe 15 minutes to read the actual short story. It was published in 1842. You know, it's this time right between the American Revolution and War of 1812 and between that and the Civil War. So it was kind of a, long past now, but it was adapted to film by Charles Beaumont and Robert Wright. Wrote the screenplay for the 1964 movie that we're talking about today, Masque of the Red Death, starring Vincent Price, obviously a classic horror movie actor. A lot of people are going to know who he is too, I guess. So yeah, so that's it, man. Masque of the Red Death. I thought this was really fitting for 2020 during a pandemic. This picture right here actually is a graphic piece that was drawn in 1919. So, the Masque of the Red Death was already almost 80 years old or whatever by then. But during the Spanish flu through the years 1917 through 1919, the story from Edgar Allan Poe, Masque of the Red Death, gained a lot more interest again, during that pandemic, the Spanish flu. So again, I just thought it was an interesting old classic horror movie to cover during this time period right now. So thought it was fitting again. I appreciate you guys having me on. I've enjoyed your podcast so far, and it's an honor to be with you and do this. It's fun stuff, man. I appreciate it, guys.
Good to hear that you listen, and I appreciate you being on and reaching out to me to do this. And I'm glad Kyle agreed. I know he's not a big fan of the older ones. We'll get to that, I'm sure. But you already mentioned something I had in my notes, and that's how it was a perfect pick for the current COVID era that we're living in with the plagues and everything. So I'll scratch that out of my notes. But speaking of notes, I got to say I'm rather aggravated. Kyle already knows this. I watched the movie Friday night, and I took notes. I always take notes on my phone while I watch it. Well, then when I went to bed, I thought of something I wanted to add in my notes. So I pulled out my phone, I went to add it, and I accidentally deleted it with my big stupid thumb.
Oh no.
So I spent the last 2 hours going back and trying to remember all the notes, and rewatching parts of the movie just so I can get the right stuff. So I'm probably missing some stuff, but it is what it is.
Heck yeah. I should let you know that I am live on Facebook, just so that way if we get some other people to kind of watch, I have it zoomed in on the 3 pictures of us, not zoomed out to where you see the one person talking, but it's just the 3 pictures of us, and then I've got it on my computer so I can see if people comment, so that way we can read
Nice.
the comments and everything. So
I like it. I like it.
figure I'd make it a little more easy to kind of respond to everything and still go live on Facebook. I guess I could have just went live on Instagram.
Adam, you already kind of did it for me, but I'll go ahead and do my thing that I do every week and give a little rundown of the movie. The Masque of the Red Death is a 1964 horror film directed by Roger Corman, starring Vincent Price. The story follows a prince who terrorizes a plague-ridden peasantry while merrymaking in a lonely castle with his jaded courtiers, I guess how you say it. The screenplay was based upon the 1842 short story by the American author Edgar Allan Poe. All things that you've already said, but I just wanted to hit it again. Normally we include the budget and the rating upon release. I couldn't find either one of those anywhere. Do you happen to know any of that information, Adam?
No, man, that trivia is a little beyond my pay grade. I didn't get into it that far.
Gotcha. Okay. One thing I did come across, the film was shot in England. It took 5 weeks. And by making it a British production with a British crew, the production got a government subsidy. So Dan Haller was used as a production designer, but not credited to ensure the film qualified as British. Same thing for the producer director Roger Corman. It was given to somebody else, but he's actually the one that did it. So
cool.
So what'd you think, Kyle? Let's hear yours first.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I started watching it and I ended up going to bed, and then I went back the next day and finished watching it from where I was. I'm not really into the older movies. I really, I guess it's my age, but I don't know.
We like what we like. It's all right.
I like how Edgar Allan Poe does everything. The cheesiness of it was just. If it was remade, Brittany was watching it with me, and she goes, "I'm surprised no one has remade this yet."
It actually was remade, I think, in the 80s. That will be for housekeeping next week, but it wasn't
1989.
89.
Yeah.
Okay. But it wasn't as popular as this one, I don't think.
Yeah, I think they need to remake it now.
Remake it. Rob Zombie remake?
Yeah, Rob Zombie can remake anything. He can remake like fucking SpongeBob, and I'd watch that shit.
That's a good point, and it really would not surprise me to see it remade again now, because like I said, it was popular when it came out. It regained popularity during the Spanish flu, and it has, it's been talked about this year too. So there's been a lot of blogging and things that have mentioned it this year. And so there's a renewed interest again. And yeah, man, somebody with a good budget that knows what they're doing needs to remake this thing again for sure.
Yeah, that was just like my biggest thing, and like, I don't know. I'll tell you, the weirdest thing to me was, did they not have a female midget?
Yeah, that was a child that played that role, and it was obviously supposed to be a female midget. Yeah, I thought that was a little odd too, but it is what it is.
It was a grown woman's voice.
with the dub over like
Right.
that. Yeah. And that was I'm trying to get out of this right here for a second. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So that actress, her name was Verena Greenlaw, that played Esmeralda, the child dancer that was supposed to be grown though. But she, from apparently, I couldn't find a whole lot of movies that she played in. Apparently she was basically just a child actor. She did a handful of movies in the early 60s, and then that was pretty much it. I couldn't find anything that she did after that.
Yeah.
And it's little person, not midget. We're going to get so much hate.
Or dwarf, people with dwarfism. Is that appropriate? I'm not sure either.
The politically correct, or however you say it, is little person now.
Little person. Okay.
I mean,
All
that
right.
seems
Well,
more offensive, but it is what it is.
I want to be respectful, but yeah. And then, well, so the male that was dancing with her, or her companion, that was Skip Martin, played the part of Hop Toad.
Mhm.
And what I found on Skip Martin was that he actually did, several movies over the course of a lot of years. He was one of these guys that, like, he would do a movie or two, and then he'd go off and do something else for a few years, and then he might come back and make another one. Everything that I read about him was that he was considered to be extremely underrated. That he was actually a really accomplished actor, but there just wasn't a whole lot of roles for a person, a little person
Right.
at that time in movies. So, actually it was a pretty good role for him. And honestly, I thought he was one of the better actors in
Yeah.
this 64 version. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, he had a short role in the movie, if you know what I mean.
But
No, that's one of the people that I thought like acted good. Like when he lit dude on fire, I was just like, yes.
well, I like to break things down a little bit when it comes to like the way things are shot, because I'm a little bit of a movie maker myself, as are you, Kyle. The opening scene with the old woman walking, that was very eerie, and it's because of the way they did it. Like the dark clouds, obviously, the fog, and the slow, suspenseful music, but the tilted terrain also. Like in the very beginning, the camera is like this, so it seems like the terrain is tilted. That just adds to that like creepy aesthetic, and I loved it.
That was something that Edgar Allan Poe was good at doing, was capturing what he was trying to film.
You mean right?
Yeah.
Poe's the poet. I know what you meant.
But like it, I don't know. It just seemed like everything, like as far as the movie, one thing I didn't understand why they didn't explain the other ones. Like at the end of the movie, there's like a blue one, a yellow one, a white one, and a black one.
I actually did some research because I was curious myself, and I've got that information. I can hit you all with it now if you want, or we can wait and we can circle back to it. What do you want to?
I mean, we're already talking about it. You might as well.
Okay. So stop me if you already know this, Adam. They were all symbolic color. They're all colors of death that were symbolic, and they each were representing a Middle Ages disease. So the black one was the Black Death, which was, I think, like the biggest plague that we've ever experienced, if I'm right about that. The golden one is supposed to represent leprosy. The violet was porphyria, if I'm saying it right. I think it's porphyria. The blue death was cholera. The yellow death was the yellow fever. White death is tuberculosis, and the red death is actually rabies. So,
yeah, I actually didn't know that. I kind of wondered about that myself. I didn't find any information on that. But I think this is a good place to mention, though. Again, the short story that was written in 1842 was only, like I say, 2,600 words, and so it's short. It can be read in 15 minutes. And so this movie really took a lot of liberties with the story and the plot, and like there's a whole lot of this movie that's just concocted for the screen, and that's one of the things that was added by the screenplay writers.
right.
Well, see, knowing that makes the movie like a lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh-oh. We're losing you again, Adam.
And me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. We lost Adam again, though.
All right.
He gave me a heads up. His internet, for whatever reason, on Zoom calls is a little shoddy, so he goes in and out. But he'll be back here in a second.
Yeah. Train of thought lost.
Yeah. So okay.
But yeah, knowing what he just said, and like about how the screenplay,
sorry?
that makes the movie that much better from in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Like that's the way I think about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I don't like this. It's only showing me now.
Am I still there?
Yeah, I mean for the live video because I was focused on the 3 pictures.
Gotcha.
So I guess I gotta just zoom out. It's gonna be a big old picture of you. There we go. But
so
yeah,
the second scene of the movie, I'll just go ahead and get back into it. After I was talking about the old lady, and after she's hit with the Red Death. Hey, welcome back, Adam.
Sorry to keep dropping out like that, guys. My internet doesn't like Zoom sometimes for some reason.
Do you remember what you were saying?
Yeah, so I was pointing out that Edgar Allan Poe had actually, apparently during his life, he discouraged people from trying to read too much into the stories, not to look at them so much as an allegory or anything, but just to kind of take them as face value as his attempt to write horror fiction. And, there has been an awful lot said about the Masque of the Red Death, though, and there's definitely some things that can be seen as an allegory there. There's the clock, the ticking time is ticking away.
Right.
And then in the actual short story, every time the clock would come around to the hour and, it was a big clock that would chime on the hour and whatnot. Every time that it would come and chime on the hour, everybody would stop.
Right.
And it was like this, this thing, a reflection of being reminded that death will come someday, and then immediately they go back to partying again and trying to forget, that someday you're going to die and that kind of thing. So people have definitely, taken some of that as an allegory. But Poe himself, like I say, he cautioned from trying to read too much into it. And then, of course, in this 64 film, they added the plot. There in the original story, there was none of the like Christianity and Satanism, and
right.
They didn't even really talk about religion in the original story. So again, that's something that was just this film that went in that direction with it as well. So
I think it really needed it, though. I mean, I don't know how it would have been pulled off if they didn't use the Christianity and the Satanism aspect, in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah.
But what I was saying before you came back was the second scene after the old lady gets hit with the Red Death. It had me saying, damn, they're just going to trample over this little kid because they pull up or whatever, and the guy has to swoop in and grab him. So I was thinking, damn, that's a good start to the movie already. But then I literally realized literally moments later that they just give zero fucks. At that point, I was like, all right, I get it now.
Yeah, I mean, you see when he grabbed the little kid, how realistic that looked.
I know, right? It probably was. There was no CGI back then.
I loved it, dude. I was like, yes, this is what movies start from. Like,
yeah, it starts out pretty hardcore, and
Right.
all in general, some of the themes in that movie, like you referenced the actor Patrick McGee that played Alfredo.
Yeah.
He gets burned up in the gorilla costume, and like that's pretty hardcore stuff, I would think, for 1964.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Listen to this, Adam out here bringing depth to our podcast. We're just normally two clowns like talking shit, but he's in here bringing depth and shit.
it's cool because I'm usually I'm like the hater, like everybody knows.
He's not the hater. He can't. I'm sure you listened to it, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He was hating on that, but then he came around at the end. So
yeah. Hey, that's another good classic movie. Oh, Patrick McGee. I was just mentioning him. Something else people might recognize him from is A Clockwork Orange.
Yep.
That was something I thought was interesting when I was looking into what else these actors had done and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and of course everybody knows about Vincent Price playing in all kinds of movies during that era.
Right.
Vincent Price played in a couple of my favorite classic horror movies besides this one. Also by Edgar Allan Poe, when I was a kid, I remember watching House of Wax for the first time, and like his face as the person, like later in the movie, like that was one of the scariest things I ever saw when I was a kid watching TV. Like, and then the Fall of the House of Usher. That's another one that was really good, adapted from Poe. Yeah.
You said House of Wax, and I don't know why, but it brought me to our brother Corey. He has his TRG Network. Those random guys
plug it every time.
Yeah, they were live earlier, or I think no, they were talking about their podcast about their Halloween special, and they were saying how the House of Wax was one of the movies that scared them the most. And I'm like, man, I gotta go back and watch that because I remember really liking that movie. So like, you bringing it up, just brought it to my attention. I'm like,
so when the prince comes riding in, almost killed that little kid, and then he's got the two down on their knees, and he says to my girl Francesca, "One must die. Which one?" Damn! Like, why you gotta do my girl like that?
Her father or her lover?
Right.
Who are you gonna kill? Yeah. Again, that's pretty hardcore themes, man.
Right. Yep.
What would you do in that situation? Like your mother or your, like, I know who you choose, Nathan, but
that's one of those would you rather game questions. I don't know, man. I don't know what you know what I'll say right now. So I'm a single guy right now, and my mom is still alive. I'm gonna say I'll pick my mom.
Oh shit.
She can live. I love mom. Mom's the best.
There you go. Hopefully she's watching. Hi, Miss House. Well, this probably isn't a good segue, but since we were just talking about Francesca, let's forget about your mom. I got to be the horny male that I am every time and point out that Francesca was looking pretty hot. Even as a peasant, I was like, damn, you know what I mean?
When she was in the bathtub, I thought she was gonna like lift up, and
I was hoping for it, but
about to see this.
and she's 74 now, and she don't look too bad.
I like Juliana the most. I thought she was hot.
Say what?
Yeah.
Was it Juliana?
Yeah.
I thought she was hot.
All the females, for a change, other than the little person, I would say was pretty hot.
Well, they were devil worshippers, so.
That's another thing that happens in this podcast every time, Adam, is my brother, who does not have a law degree, somehow manages to lawyer me every episode. And right there, that was one by bringing up the fact that they're all devil worshippers. So
I thought that was pretty cool. Like how he was like, "Oh, what's this necklace?" And like, do you follow your faith? And she's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Take that shit off. You're not wearing it in my house." And I'm like, "Ooh, shit." Oh, shit. We got 3 viewers on the live.
What's up, viewers? I would like it to be 3,000, but I mean, it is what it is. We'll get there, right? And I think we lost Adam again.
Yes.
Well, while we wait for him to come back, the film, it relies heavily on jump scares, mainly attached to the music. The blood and the gore, or blood and gore and ghostly creature monsters are like more what we're used to today. What's up?
I said hi, wife. Both of our wives said hello.
Oh, hi, Erica. I'm not on that. So, but yeah, the movie relies on the jump scares, opposed to like the blood and gore and the monsters and everything that we see today. I want him to come back because I have a question, not really a question, but he can probably elaborate more on, because he's pretty musical himself, and I've got a thing to say about that. So I guess I'll just wait for him to come back.
Yeah, I like him being on the areas.
Hey, it's Adam again. So when you left, I brought up the fact that the movie relies heavily on jump scares, opposed to like the monsters and the blood and gore and stuff of today's films and whatnot. But they attach it the jump scares to the heavy suspenseful music. And because you're more of a musical type individual than I am, you might be able to elaborate more on what I'm. My light just went off. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Anyways, you might be able to elaborate more because what I'm about to say is going to sound kind of silly, but I'm actually just going to read it if you give me a second. Okay, so prior to like when movies started ramping up with soundtracks and using more music rather than just sound effects and that such, this one used like the swirly sounding music. That's why I want you to elaborate on. Like, I'm talking about the swirl, like when there's chasing going on, or just throughout the movie, there's like a swirling kind of music. What is that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know that I really have anything, and too enlightening other than just the fact that it is noticeable, like you say, it is noticeable, and a lot of soundtracks from that era are kind of like that too. The other Vincent Price movies and horror movies and stuff, I've noticed that too. It's definitely a big part of the movie, yeah. But I would really rather comment on though is right before I got dropped this last time, we were talking about the element of the religious stuff in the movie. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when Prince Prospero takes Francesca down into the dungeon, and they say something to the effect of, she asks him, is this what your master Satan that demands of you, that you treat people like this in a dungeon like this, that you keep people here and you torture them, and is this part of your religion? And he comes back, he doesn't answer her directly, he just comes back and he says, well, this castle was actually built by Christians, and it was this dungeon was meant for people that didn't toe the line of the church during the Inquisition, So it's like, yeah, I got you there, But then there's another really interesting, it's kind of a little more of a tangent issue, but as a musician, one of the things, and as a Muay Thai practitioner, one of the things that I've learned in Muay Thai is that there's this scene. Let me go back and reference the scene first. They're having a sword fight in the dungeon. You probably remember the sword fight.
Yep.
Francesca's boyfriend or whatever, and her dad, they're supposed to fight each other, and of course the boyfriend, he doesn't want to fight or whatever, but then they coax him into it. They keep, they like cut him and whatever, and so then he starts fighting back, and he gets good at it, and he kind of gets the best of the guy that was trying to teach him. And Vincent Price, or Prince Prospero, speaks up and says something to the effect that the greatest sword fighter is not scared of the second greatest sword fighter as much as he would be an untrained sword fighter, because that would be unpredictable. And I've experienced that kind of rung true with me. It really stood out to me because I've sparred with a lot of people in my Muay Thai training, and that's something that you'll come across quite a bit. If you get somebody that's been trained in a certain school for so long, they are kind of predictable.
Right.
And so sometimes it's the person that doesn't really know exactly what's the traditional way to go that can kind of throw a monkey wrench in there sometimes. So a bit of a tangent, but
Okay.
but it was kind of an interesting scene to me.
Well, that brings up a couple things. So let me hit this real quick. That we were talking about the sword fight. I loved the match cut transition, which where Prospero throws the dagger down to the woman to kill herself. It focuses on the dagger falling, and then match cut transition, it goes to the sword on the ground. Again, as a movie maker myself, I love seeing things executed like that. I thought that was really, really sweet. Did you pick up on that one, Kyle?
Yeah, no, I did. I know I said that I didn't like it at the beginning, but it's like from what House has said and everything, I'm thinking more on to the whole movie. Like, It's
Right,
a pretty
yeah.
good movie.
And then another thing that you were talking about with the sword fight thing, it's a trope. We at the end of the thing, I introduced Kyle to tropes. I don't know if you know what movie tropes are, Adam. Okay, movie tropes are basically common things that reoccur in movies consistently. Horror is big with tropes. One of the tropes, I got a few of them. I'll get to those later, but you already mentioned one now, so I'm gonna bring it up. It's called instant expert. So Gino, he had never fought before in his life, but now he picks up a sword and he's suddenly skilled. So that he's an instant expert because it's a movie trope. And then back to the religion. I just wanted to go to this. Nearing the end of the movie, Prospero is before he's killed. The Red Death. He says each man creates his own god for himself, his own heaven and his own hell. I thought that was an interesting take on religion. And I wanted to, without delving too far down the religious rabbit hole, because that's a whole nother podcast. What did you guys think of that statement?
It's pretty much.
It's deep, right?
Yeah, it's exactly what he says. Like, everyone creates their own heaven and hell. That's the way I portray it. Like from what he says, like shit. Who am I to tell you that there isn't a heaven or hell? I'm just a person that I'd rather see it to believe it than have faith in something that I don't see.
Gotcha. How about
yeah, you? I actually found that to be one of the most, like the whole movie kind of turns on a few phrases here and there sometimes, and to me that was one of the definitive statements in the whole movie. Because you did in the movie version of this story, you did have this addition of this Christian versus Satanism kind of dynamic going on. And throughout the story, we're getting the impression that, oh, well, these people's Christian faith is not going to be able to protect them from the plague, the Red Death. And then, but also you've got the Satan worshipers in the castle that are trying to quarantine themselves, and they think that they've protected themselves. And obviously there's the conversation between Prospero and the Red Death in human form, where basically Prospero figures out, or he's told, almost verbatim that, it's, you're not saving yourself either, so it's like you can throw in with God or you can throw in with the devil. It doesn't matter. The Red Death is coming and it's going to get you too, which is another.
Uh-oh.
No, we lost him. We'll have to come back to that. I need to, I was thinking about this while he was talking about it. Is he supposed to be a vampire?
Who? Prospero?
Yeah.
No, he's just a simple human. Well, he's a prince, but he's just a human and a devil worshiper. So
only reason I asked,
there were no monsters in this one.
When she busts into the room, to the black room, he's sitting there in a casket.
Yeah, that's a common whatever you want to call it. Satanists are like vampires, I guess, but he's not meant to be a vampire. No. Back at him.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then just one other point there on that. There's some very powerful language used in the short story that is repeated in the movie. And that's when they say that the Red Death comes as a thief in the night. Now, somebody that comes from the background, like I was raised in religion and in Christian church, that's a huge theme throughout the Christian mythology about, the second coming of Christ, or the end of the world, the end of days, end of time, judgment day, and that nobody can escape it. It's eventually going to come. And so using that language that the Red Death comes as a thief in the night, it just elevates again the Red Death to having more power than anything else. And actually, one of the last lines of the short story is an extremely famous phrase, one of the most famous phrases that Edgar Allan Poe ever wrote. and they actually throw it on the screen at the end of that movie. And man, I don't want to misquote it right now, but says something to the effect that the Red Death held illimitable power and dominion over the land. And that word illimitable, obviously you look at it and you say, well, that means they couldn't limit it. No matter what they did, they couldn't limit the effect of the Red Death. And I looked up the word, and it doesn't look like that was even a word. So Edgar Allan Poe apparently invented the word illimitable, and that I've not even been able to really find it used in literature since then either. So, but
I think I'm gonna start using it, illimitable.
yeah, illimitable.
If I can say
it. It's a little bit of a tongue twister.
So Prince Prospero is evil, Satanist, all this, yet he spares children. Like, I already know it's a trope. I'll get to that. But what did you think of how he just, like, with that instance where he's like, don't kill the child. He kills the rest of them, but leave the child. And they're like, she's going to die anyways or whatever. But he doesn't want her to be killed by his men. He's supposed to be evil. Like, why is evil sparing children? What do you think?
I really didn't know what to make of that. But when I saw that scene, it made me wonder how they were going to tie up that loose end. If we were going to come back and figure out, what happened to the baby or whatever.
Yep.
But the only thing that I can tell is at the end of the movie, when the Red Death is talking to those, the other plagues and whatnot, he says, he names by name which people that he left alive, and that baby was not one of the people that he named at the end. So apparently, as the story goes, the baby did apparently die. So,
but the little girl,
that's a really hardcore theme.
Yeah, the little girl is the one he's sitting against the tree playing with the tarot cards, I guess. Tarot cards. Yeah.
In fact, if maybe a bit of a spoiler here, but if I remember correctly, there were 6 people left alive, which were basically Francesca and her boyfriend, Hop Toad and Esmeralda, the dancers, and the jester, and the little girl that the Red Death is talking to at the end of the movie. And then he said there's still an old man left alive in the village.
Right.
And that was it. Everybody else was dead. So again, it seems like the baby that was referenced earlier in the movie must have died too.
Yeah.
So again, yeah, man, really pretty hardcore themes, I would think, for 1964.
Yep. It's what helped make the movie what it was, though. So obviously, you guys got anything else before I start hitting these tropes hard on?
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, I want to hear this too. I'm enjoying that. I'm anxious to hear it.
All right. One of them is called the asshole victim, and what that example of that, Prospero and the people staying in the castle aren't good people. Their responses to overwhelming human suffering is to hide themselves away and seal the doors so that the sight of the death won't disturb their happiness. This is also an example of another trope called aristocratic evil. They're all aristocrats, but they all die, so fuck them. But yeah, asshole victim and aristocratic evil, those are both tropes. Another one to do with Prospero is a bad boss. Whenever you see a bad boss like him forcing his guests to grovel while he humiliates them and whatnot, so there's always a bad boss in movies like this. Dark is evil. So Prospero is dressed in prominently black, and his castle is pretty dark itself, especially the exterior, obviously. So whenever you see dark is evil, that's a trope. And then back to the little leaving the children alive. Even evil has standards. So that answers why he left the child alive. While he is villainous and everything, he has a set standard. And there's instant expert. I already brought that up. Anytime there's a masquerade or a costume party, that means something's about to go down. as there was obviously a masquerade there. There's several other tropes in it, but those are big ones that I immediately picked up on. So that's what a trope is. It's a common reoccurrence that you see in these types of movies.
That's cool. That's cool. That's good info. Oh yeah, and I guess I would mention just the Red Death itself. The way it's described in the story and the way it's described in the movie. It's described as a disease. It spreads easily, it spreads quickly, and when the onset of symptoms happens, it's the pores of the skin open up as if you were sweating, except you sweat blood. So it's supposed to be like a hemorrhagic fever. The person's whole body starts to just pour bloody sweat and then die within about a half an hour of the onset of those symptoms. So when it sets in, it's supposed to be a really quick death too. It's pretty nasty. I think about like a modern horror movie that I was trying to think of to maybe compare it to or something. Made me think of Cabin Fever. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that one. They basically start to break out in like a hemorrhagic fever kind of thing, and blood all over the body, and then they die quick. So yeah, again, pretty nasty stuff.
Yeah. To piggyback off of that, we already said it, kind of like somebody like Rob Zombie to remake this now. Can you imagine that visual?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's terrifying across the ages, right? I mean, that's why people got interested again in this movie and this story during the Spanish flu, or in the story in the Spanish flu, and then they got interested in it again during this coronavirus pandemic. And what I read about Edgar Allan Poe's, what kind of gave him, wanting to make this story, his incentive or his experience, that apparently he had some sickness in his family. I forget which one of his relatives that apparently had died of cholera. And, of course, the plague was, early 1800s, the plague was still a pretty big deal in people's minds, hadn't been that long. So really, since, other people had experienced similar types of symptoms. So again, it just, it goes to the classic nature of the story, and the fact that humanity keeps dealing with the same things. All throughout history, there's been different pestilence and disease and whatnot, and it's been, here it is again, the material for horror fiction. It was popular horror fiction in the early 1800s, and here it is again. So it's something that sticks with humanity, and it's scared us for a long time.
Yep.
So what color do you think that coronavirus would be like? Highlighter yellow?
Yeah.
It's a good question.
I think that one I'm going to be for Halloween next year.
So I wanted to hit this before we did the review, but it's all right. We'll do it now. Is there anybody want to say anything else about the movie itself?
No.
I don't think so. I covered it pretty good.
Gotcha. I do want to say thanks for requesting this, because I have never seen it. Maybe I would have came across it, I don't know, but I was pleasantly pleased with the movie. I've said it before. I love everything horror, everything that had to do with death, pretty much. So that's my own sick, sadistic side. But so thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. I told you Kyle would come around, but I wanted to do this before we started, but I'm gonna do it now. And Kyle doesn't know. You don't know what I'm doing. I did it intentionally. Since Halloween was yesterday, and since we've been reviewing all these horror movies, and we're going to continue that into November. 13 Ghosts is our next review, by the way. That drops next Saturday. Yeah, noon Eastern. Good pick, Kyle. But I want to see if us three can just collectively have a top 10 horror movie list. All three of us just come up with a collective good 10 movies. We just off the top of the dome.
Oh, we don't have to choose 10 each. We just 10
No.
together.
I want to do it
Okay.
collectively. Us three just come to agreement. Yeah, let's put that on the top 10. I mean, I don't want it to take 20 minutes or anything, but I'll start us off. My brother Corey shits all over it in his review. He has his own podcast, TRG Network. He shit all over it. But Paranormal Activity, the first one, the rest of them are all right, but the first one's what I'm talking about. I want to put it on this top 10 list. And Adam, I don't know if we watched it together or not, but when I first saw it the very first time, we were deployed in Afghanistan in that 15-man tent. I got a Haji copy of it. It was already released in the theaters or whatever, so I got the Haji cop. But I watched it, and I legitimately felt like, is this real? Like, is this real footage that they finally actually captured and have it on a movie format? It wasn't until we got back from Afghanistan that I found out it was all just fucking acting. But I legitimately felt like that shit was real. So, Corey, if you're watching this, I don't care. Paranormal Activity is my top 10.
I've seen it in theaters.
You see it there? Oh, God.
I went in theaters, and I thought it was real because, me, before, like, Marvel started doing the thing where they play something after the credits.
Yeah.
As soon as the credits start rolling, I'm already halfway down the stairs. So I didn't see the part where they said that it's fucking fake. So I was going around like, yo, I don't know if you guys seen Paranormal Activity or not, but that shit's real. Like,
yeah, that's me too.
Someone's like, nah, man, just look at the end of the movie. They tell you that it's all fake. I was still like, I mean, shit. They fooled me.
Yeah.
I thought it was a well thought out movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's very, very good movie. And and I have to say, it would take a lot for me to like a movie like that, just because I was really not a fan of the Blair Witch Project. I really don't care much for that kind of like reality camera.
Yeah.
It's not really my thing, but that Paranormal Activity, yeah, they did it right for sure. Right. Yeah, I'd definitely say that's a good one on the list. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so you got 10 and 9. So
what's 10 and 9? What are you talking about?
Your top 10, right?
Yeah, I said our collective, to us three, to come up with 10, and no specific order either. I just want to give us. Go ahead.
13 Ghosts is one of mine. Like, I'm sorry, it's a phenomenal movie, and like I said, at the end of the podcast for The Shining, when I announced that that's what we're going to watch, I think Netflix should pick it up and do a story on all 13 ghosts, like each episode or two.
Absolutely. You say
that's a great idea.
You say Netflix, but I guess Hulu's doing their own things now. And I watched at Hulu the other night with my wife, a horror flick, and they did pretty good too. So Netflix or Hulu or us, we can do it. I'm telling you.
Disney Plus to do it. I don't care. Just somebody do it. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, so 13 Ghosts is one of mine, and then Halloween, just Michael Myers is like one of my favorites. So
yeah, you got to put the OG on there.
So I guess I can be the classic horror movie guy this time, and I'll reference back to an older one again. I am also, besides a Poe and a Vincent Price fan, I'm also into Hitchcock. I do like Hitchcock, and I just remember when I was a kid, the movie The Birds scared the ever-loving piss out of me when I was a kid. I remember when I would watch that movie, like the first time was absolutely horrifying, but and I watched it, like it would come on TV. It was a rerun quite a bit, when I was a kid. And so it was on from time to time, and I would usually watch it every time I saw it. And I just remember, like, every time I saw that movie, the next time I'd go outside, I'd be paranoid as fuck, looking around the birds and shit. So, like, that movie definitely scared the shit out of me.
Yep.
So, my hat's off again to Hitchcock. Tip the hat to him again. He's still the master of horror.
Yeah. I do want to say on the live, my wife said, "I'll spit on your grave," 2010. That's her pick.
We'll throw
Another
that
good
in.
one.
Now we can both have 3, and we'll have Brittany's as the 10th one. So you've got Halloween and 13 Ghosts. I've said Paranormal Activity. We got Birds. So you got one more to throw in, Kyle. Adam, you got
one.
2.
Yeah, Adam, throw one more in for us.
Okay, well, I guess one of the more
No.
Oh no,
I
no, we lost him.
thought
You're just echoing.
movie at this
Move.
age, it was unsettling.
You there?
That
Hey brother, if you can hear us, you have to do that all over again because you're frozen and echoing. All right. Well, while we wait on him to come back, I'll throw out another one for me. Hostel, the whole series. I love Hostel. Kyle, I am a sick, twisted, something's wrong with me in the head. I don't care what you want to say, but the Hostel movies were amazing. I love when people get their due justice and get sliced open and raped. I'll say it, raped, not in real life, but in movies.
Well, then I'll go ahead and say mine. I think I'm saying it right, but it's I guess I'll just have to rest stop. I'm gonna go change it up. Rest stop was one of mine. Did you ever see Rest Stop?
Rest stop. I'm not. Hey Adam, we lost you before you said your movie.
Yeah.
So go ahead and hit that one. Go ahead.
A more modern movie that really was unsettling for me is, as at this age, it's kind of difficult for me to actually get scared of a horror movie. But Insidious was very unsettling to me. And I love that whole series, but that first movie of Insidious I just think it's great.
Yes. Agreed.
And again, you were talking about the musical score in Masque of the Red Death. Obviously that music in Insidious it almost makes the movie.
Yep. It's like Halloween. That score from Halloween is like without that.
Yeah.
That's what makes it iconic. So yeah, I agree.
Did you guys do one while I was cut out, or?
Yeah, I had mentioned I'm a big fan of the whole Hostel series.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw Hostel 1 on there. And then he couldn't remember what his is called, but you decided with Rest Stop?
Yeah, because if I can't remember the name, then it wasn't that good. I think it was called Jennifer's Body, but I'm not sure.
That's a movie.
It's the one where the chick gets raped by the guys and she gets revenge throughout the rest of the movie.
I think you're right. I think it's Jennifer's Body.
That's a really good fucking movie.
Housekeeping for next week.
But Rest Stop was the one that I can think of.
Yeah, I haven't seen Rest Stop, so you want to just fill me in a little bit what that is?
Pretty much, there's just it's just like they're at a rest area and this motherfucker is just killing
yeah, that's
people.
scary already. I don't like Rest Stops, especially.
No.
All right,
it's close to home.
Yeah,
I travel a lot, so I always stop at rest areas. So that's why it's kind of
try not to.
I don't want to die taking a shit, and that's my favorite thing to do on a trip is take a shit at a rest area. So,
all right, so we got Halloween, Paranormal Activity, Birds, Rest Stop, Hostel,
13 Ghosts.
13 Ghosts.
I Spit on Your Grave.
I Spit on Your Grave. Did you name 3, Adam?
Not yet. I got one more. I guess I would probably. I remember as a young adult, like not long after I got married, I think my ex-wife and I, we went to see The Ring in theaters, and the first time seeing The Ring was another one that even as an adult it was pretty unsettling. Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Well, I guess I'm the last one, right? You both named 3. I am going to go with, said it a couple times already, I love Rob Zombie. House of 1,000 Corpses. I can still watch that now, and I love that everybody dies. That's what makes the movie. No one lives. Captain Spaulding is beautiful. That House of 1,000 Corpses.
So can I ask a question on that one?
Yeah.
So I would imagine you've also seen The Devil's Rejects then. So I mean, what's your comparison between it? Why would you choose one over the other, or what? How do you look at that?
House of 1,000 Corpses. Well, okay, let's put it this way. In my opinion, and I think it's universal, the original is always better than the sequels. So I think that's one instance right there. Like, he tried to outdo himself. Don't get me wrong, love The Devil Rejects too. But and also another thing, I believe there's still survivors in Devil's Rejects, aren't there?
Yeah.
So that right there, that's the nail in the coffin. 1,000 Corpses, no one survives.
I love
the villains, of course. So what?
Which again, that goes back to an issue on today's topic, the Masque of the Red Death. Again, in the 1964 movie, 6 people lived. In Edgar Allan Poe's original story, nobody lives.
Edgar had it right.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
I was saying, I love Rob Zombie. Like, I love how he always, every movie his wife is in.
Yeah.
Like when he remade Halloween, she's his mom as the ghost. You know what I mean?
It's been a minute since I watched that, but I'm gonna have to watch it again anyways. So.
Yeah. And then somebody on the live, Dad, he said Amityville Horror.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
I could list them for days, to be honest, but
yeah, for sure, man. There's so many that like it's kind of doesn't do it justice to leave a lot of stuff off the list here. Right. I mean, a classic like that, like the original Amityville Horror. I mean, that was a huge deal when it first came out. That's another one like Psycho or some of those like the originals. They were a big deal. I mean, look, by today's standards, people might not think they're all that great, but when they came out, man, they were new stuff, and they really turned a lot of heads back then. So, yeah.
Oh, I do want to bring something up. I was watching Corey and Tommy's podcast, and I wanted to do some cleanup for them so that way they can hear this and be like, oh, shit. So they were talking about It. And saying they were saying the original It, they liked it better, and the new It wasn't a remake of the old one,
right?
And
they called it a remake.
Yeah, they called it a remake. If you, I'm not 100% positive. I think it's like 26 years or something like that. But they're saying, like, I think in the movie, Pennywise comes out every 26 years.
Yeah, I think.
Well, the second It movie was made 26 years after the first one. So, Corey, Tommy, it wasn't a remake. It was an addition. I just wanted to say that. I was thinking about it with movies, and I'm like,
I had no idea, though. That's interesting.
Yeah. I remember, I forget who it was that I seen on like the Tonight Show or something, but they were talking about that, and people were kept calling it a remake, and he stopped him. He said, it's not a remake. Well, it's a sequel.
The first one, the original, if you want to call it original, was a mini series for television anyways. It wasn't even a movie. It was a mini series on television. And these ones now they were made for movie instead. So, but
yeah, so I'm pretty sure I think it's 26 years, but for some reason I feel like it was something different than that. Like it might be 27 or I forget. We'll have to do it for housekeeping and let people know because
there's so many horror movies. It's going to, like we talked about, we're going to review other movies besides just horror. Adam, in case you didn't know that, we are planning on doing some different things. I think we're going to bleed over in November and keep it horror that way. But then December, we're going to switch it up and do some Christmas themed movies and such. But I'll be honest, it's going to be hard to come off the horror. I mean, I would love to just keep doing horror, but we've already agreed to mix it up a little bit. So
I got a good way to blend like horror and Christmas together. There's a couple movies we could pick, so that'll blend it. And I think instead of starting in December, we should start in like mid-November, like bleeding over into Christmas. So that way we gave all of October and half of November to Halloween horror, and then half of November and all of December to Christmas, and then we can just pick off random movies, as we do it. I don't know.
That's funny you mentioned that. I was just thinking the other day, like this time between Halloween and Christmas, that's usually when I'll go back and watch Nightmare Before Christmas again. Yeah.
that's going to be on there. I already know that. My wife would kill me if I didn't suggest that one. So.
I was gonna Nightmare Before Christmas, and then just to kind of be funny about it, Jack Frost.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that's the horror. Yeah, I like it.
And there's a Christmas movie that our sister will kill us if we don't review. So yeah, Erica said favorite movie.
Nice.
Yeah, but
well, we went over the hour on the anchor, so this part's going to be cut off, but it's all good. Thanks again, Adam, for suggesting the movie, and also special thanks for coming on here and, like I said, giving us some depth to this stuff, making the podcast actually intellectual rather than just us two idiots.
I'm just a fanboy too, man. So, and I really appreciate you inviting me. I've got a big question for you, but first, like, yeah, I do appreciate you having me on. The thing, I know that I don't really know you, Kyle, but served with your brother in the military, and we were roommates for a while and whatnot, and I know he always has taken his creative projects seriously and put a lot of passion and time into them. And I think the Halloween that we were in Italy together, I seem to remember kind of going all out, like it was, yeah, I think you told me back then it was your favorite holiday, if I remember right. So, but, and of course, when I was playing drums for Outlaw Serenade, I remember, we got to collaborate a little bit there too. And you used some of our audio tracks on your lowrider video and stuff. So
I sure did.
Yeah, man, it's been great. It's been great doing all this stuff. I enjoy this stuff too. So just thanks for letting me be a part of it.
Awesome.
I do have one big question for you though.
Hold on real quick. I just got to give a quick shout out. Yesterday also, besides being Halloween, it was my brother and his wife's 6-year anniversary. Oh, look at Michael Myers.
Look at that.
I want to give a shout out on our pod. Happy anniversary, Kyle and Brittany.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
All right, shoot with that question. Oh.
Well, I've got to know, because I've seen some of your work before, so I've got to know when is the Webb fan. When are you putting out another horror movie yourself? When are you going to film something soon or what? We need some content here.
You want to address that, Kyle, or you want me to take it?
Oh, take it away.
We've actually already began production on. I think I told you about Die Time. Did I ever let you watch Die Time? The one that me and Kyle made. Okay, you did watch it. Okay, I can't find the copy, unfortunately. But so that was with minimal education and basic equipment, and it was all right. Well, now we've got a lot better education and a lot better equipment. So we've started already to basically remake that and do it right. We've modified it a little bit. We've got a different lead character. Yeah, there we go. There's a little bit of production documents. The lead character, however, had a little hiccup. That hiccup is taken care of. I don't know if he wants his business put out there, so I won't say anything. But we had to.
He went to jail.
Yeah, he got arrested.
Like,
love you, Steph.
Twice, he says.
Yeah. So we're halting the production right now. There's also a pool scene that we have to refilm, so it's getting too cold for that shit. But yes, there is going to be a Webb production, and we're going to do it right. So yeah.
That's good news. I'm really happy to hear that. I'll be anxious to see it.
I can't wait. We've been having so much. We were just having so much fun with like the little bit that we did get to film that we
Yeah.
actually had to refilm. But it was just fun to get back out and do it again. So
Sure.
it's I'm stoked that you got to see the original. So
I did. If I remember right, I want to say that you made that when you were on leave
Yeah.
at some point, and then when you came back, you had a copy of it on your hard drive, I think, and we pulled it up on the laptop or something. Maybe HDMI'd it into the TV or whatever. But yeah, totally, man. That's what I was talking about. I'm really happy to hear you're going forward with it again. Good.
he got to see it before me. That's cool. That's good to know. That was fun though. But
All right. Well, we will wrap it up.
yeah,
Okay.
Can I
Hey,
plug?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, plug away.
Yeah, I got just one thing. So I wrote it and published a book last year right here. It's called Operation Phoenix Warrior. And you can find this on lulu.com, lulu.com. My name is Adam House. And it's a short book. It's got a lot of autobiographical information, but the gist of the book is really geared towards talking about post-traumatic stress disorder and coping with that and moving on in your life, managing PTSD, and some things that I've come across over the years that's helped me with it quite a bit. And then the end of the book is my plan about how I would like to use what I've learned to help other people. And I'm working on that right now. Of course, the COVID thing has kind of put a monkey wrench in the works for me on that, as well as a lot of people all over the world this year. But I went to Thailand, and I went to the Muay Thai Academy for a couple of years in Bangkok, and I graduated with my license from the Thai government to teach Muay Thai. So I'm a licensed Muay Thai crew, and I can open a school anywhere in the world, and it'll be accredited by the Thai Ministry of Education. And I want to use that to host clinics, Muay Thai clinics, camps, retreats for people with post-traumatic stress. And I was working on that before COVID started, and like I say, that's kind of on freeze right now, but it's still a passion of mine, and I still want to do it. And again, this book kind of outlines where I've come from and what I want to do and how I want to help. So that's all I've got, man. Thanks for letting me do that.
No
that's
problem.
Operation Phoenix Warrior.
Operation Phoenix Warrior.
Okay, awesome.
And it's on lulu.com.
Lulu.com. Okay, cool.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure that I clarify that for the. I mean, I'm still live on Facebook, so I got my phone right here, just filming like the top 3 pictures over here.
Yep.
So
Right on.
That way, it's clear for everybody, so that way they know, because you know how the internet is.
Also, if anybody's interested, I also did a limited series podcast over the summer this year. It's called On Liberty, and you can find it on YouTube. And let's see, my co-host put it on another platform right now, but off the top of my head, I can't remember if it was Anchor or Spotify or what. But Liberty, maybe use my name to help find it, Adam House, and the other guy's name is Adam Wade. He's also a combat veteran, Navy veteran. So we had an Army veteran and a Navy veteran doing a podcast. It's like 7 or 8 episodes that we did, limited series. So yeah, enjoy that too if you can find On Liberty.
Yeah, I've got the book. It's a good read, and I'm definitely gonna check out that podcast then, because I didn't know about that. So
yeah, so I'm gonna plug our Instagram real quick. It's at 2 Bros in a Review. Just gotta try to put like pretty much saturate the lives and the podcasts with that, so people go on to Instagram and follow us. And the link for our podcast is actually in the bio, so people can easily find the podcast and listen to it. And then I've got the Stories of Our Lives podcast. Same thing, links in the bio. So if you want to actually listen to some crazy stories from my life and my buddy Seth, my brother is what we always call each other. I've known him since I was 3 years old or some shit.
Wow.
But
Nice.
yeah, so we talk. I mean, everybody keeps asking us to bring it back, and Seth and I were talking about it literally before we went and started this right here, and we're gonna try and get back to it here soon and bring some more new stories fresh to everybody.
Good.
So
Good.
Nathan listened to it.
Oh yeah, I love it. And even if you don't know what they're talking about, like if you're a person that's never met my brother, if you just listen to it and put yourself in that situation, it's so good. I find myself laughing my ass off. So
Awesome.
We got to plug the TRG Network. Go ahead, Kyle. I'll let you take that.
All right, TRG Network. That is Those Random Guys. It's my little brother, our little brother Corey, and his little friend Tommy. They're fucking hilarious. They do it on YouTube and do I'm not sure if it's do Anchor. I think it's just look on Apple Podcast. That's all I can say. So yeah, it's a great podcast. It's hilarious.
One of the recent ones, they talked about Halloween movies also, and they gave a bunch of their ratings and stuff. That's where my fuck you to them about Paranormal Activity came from. But also House. Check out their one about the 2 presidential candidates scrap fighting and who would win. I think you'll get a good laugh out of it.
Okay. All right. That'd be good. Did you see? So apparently there were a lot of people that were sending messages to Joe Rogan saying that he should moderate debates between Trump and Biden. You know, and he was having to answer questions because he was getting so much, people really wanted him to do it. And so, but then during the first Trump Biden debate, he had tweeted out or put it on Instagram, maybe both, one or the other, and said, y'all don't need me to moderate a debate between these two. You need Big Joe McCarthy getting in from the UFC, getting in there, separating these two.
That's awesome.
The only thing that I personally have to plug, you asked last week, Kyle, if I want to do my Instagram. I don't, but I do. I think I should plug my YouTube channel. I need some viewers on that. It's free to support us, guys. Check out our Instagram, 2 Bros and a Review, but also check out my YouTube channel. Just search for High Society Productions. It's my goofy ass wearing a High Society hat like this, I think. Yeah, check that out and watch my videos. I do vlogs and like travel vlogs and different things. I'm gonna eventually upload the audio for all these podcasts on there too. But and then of course, go ahead.
You have one more plug.
I have one more plug.
Yes, we're on Facebook Live. You got to plug Erica.
Oh, hey, yeah, good. Yeah. So my wife, she does signs and a lot of custom work like that. So if you want a welcome sign, a porch sign, a sign for your wedding, anything you can think of with vinyl or chalk or any of that kind of stuff, we dabble in it all. I help her a little bit, but it's ultimately her company. Expressive Designs by Erica Webb, I believe is what it's called. Is she on right now? She's supposed to be at work.
She's watching, so hopefully she'll comment and I can relay it.
I'm pretty sure it's Expressive Designs by Erica Webb. So go check that out or message me and I can link you up with her. But yeah, she's really creative. She does a lot of cool stuff. And then we've got our company, High Society. We do mini trucking stuff and Ladies of Lifestyle. She started that. It's all about the women of mini trucking. So yeah, check out all those things. I don't want to plug too much of this kind of stuff, but I guess we can for this.
You said yes, that's correct.
See? And then just the last thing, again, to reiterate, please go to Apple Podcasts, that little purple icon, and scroll down, write a review for us, give us 5 stars. It helps us climb the charts, helps us get us out there. Look at this guy putting on the mask again. Yeah, go do that. And of course, listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever else. Let us know what platform you listen to. If we're not there, we'll get us on there. So I guess we're all putting our masks on again, but I'm just going to hold mine up.
That's what I'm doing. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm out of here. I'm Kyle Webb.
I'm his brother, Nathan Webb.
And our guest,
Adam House. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you for your input. Thanks for everything. We really appreciate the feedback you give every week. Thanks everybody for listening. Again, Two Bros in a Review. Follow us on Instagram. Share, comment, go to Apple Podcasts, leave a review. Thank you guys so much.
Happy Halloween, bitches.
Happy Halloween.